sports fans to Blood Bowl Team Manager, the card game, where managers pit their teams against each other over the course of a Blood Bowl League season. As managers compete in matchups and tournaments, they gain staff upgrades, team upgrades, and star players. The manager with the most fans after 5 rounds of play wins the game. Blood Bowl Team Manager, the card game, starts each week with a maintenance phase. Each manager prepares his team and staff by refreshing exhausted cards, replenishing his hand from his team deck, and restocking the cheat token pool. Play begins by revealing a Spike magazine card. The headline for this week is Rivalry Week Kicks Off, which reads, in addition to collecting the central payout, the winner of each highlight collects 2 fans. Each week a new Spike magazine card is revealed. A number of highlight cards equal to the number of managers in the game are then placed on the field. This week's highlights are Gutter Run, Intentional Pounding, Sideline Screamer, and the Sneaky Weasel. This line of highlights shows both team zone payouts and the winner's central payout. These payouts are what each manager gains when they participate at a particular matchup, but only the winner collects the central payout. A Blood Bowl football token is then placed on each of the highlight cards, and we are ready for the matchup phase. The matchup phase is the heart of the Blood Bowl game experience. During this phase, teams compete in head-to-head matchups. The more matchups a team wins, the more they improve, and the more fans the team manager gains. Managers commit players to each highlight and use optional player skills such as passing, sprinting, and tackling in order to win. The cheating skill is the only skill in the game that is mandatory. In this 4-player example, the Reichland Reavers, the Gouged Eye, the Grudge Bearers, and the Keven Brighting Scramblers are all competing for the most fans. The Grudge Bearers manager begins by committing a Dwarf Longbeard to the Intentional Pounding highlight. Once a player is committed to a matchup, the manager is guaranteed to collect his team zone's payout, and should he win, will also collect the central payout. The Reichland Reavers manager commits a human catcher to the Sideline Screamer highlight and chooses to use the catcher's sprint skill, which allows the Reichland manager to draw 1 card from his team deck and discard 1 card from his hand. The Keven Brighting Scramblers manager commits a Keven Thrower to the Gutter Run highlight. The Keven Thrower has a cheat icon, so a cheat token is pulled from the cheat token pool at random and is placed on the card. Cheat tokens can help or hurt your team, but the result is hidden until the scoreboard phase. The Keven Thrower also has a pass icon that allows the team manager to move the ball from midfield to the Keven Thrower, who now becomes the ball carrier. Controlling the ball at the end of the week adds 2 star points to the team total. The Gouged Eye manager plays an Orc Blitzer in the opposing team zone on the Gutter Run highlight and uses the Blitzer's tackle skill against a Keven Thrower. Star Power notes how effective a player is when committed to a highlight. Each player has a standing and a downed Star Power number. This number is used for both tackle attempts and scoring. During a tackle attempt, the number of tackle die rolled depends on the Star Power matchup between the player who is being tackled and the player who is tackling. If the tackler's star power is greater than his target, he rolls 2 dice and chooses a result of his choice. If star powers are equal, he rolls 1 die, and if the tackler's star power is less than his target, he rolls 2 die but must allow the target to choose a result. The Orc Blitzer has a star power of 3 to the Keven Thrower's star power of 2. Which means that the Gouged Eye manager will roll 2 dice and choose which die result to apply. The Gouged Eye manager rolls 1 target down and 1 target missed. He chooses the target down, and the Keven Thrower is downed, which drops his star power number and forces him to drop the ball, returning it to midfield. Next, the Gouged Eye manager must place a cheat token on the Orc Blitzer, which is later revealed in the scoreboard phase. The Grudge Bearer's manager now plays a Troll Slayer on the intentional pounding highlight, which brings his team star power up to 4. The Troll Slayer also has a cheat icon, which he must use, and a tackle skill which can't be used because there is currently no opposing team. The Reichland manager plays a human blitzer on the intentional pounding highlight. He then uses the blitzer's tackle skill against the opposing Troll Slayer. They have equal star power, so the Reichland manager will only roll 1 die. The Reichland manager rolls a target down, but the Dwarf Longbeard has a guard ability which reads, when an opposing player successfully tackles one of your players, you may apply the dice result to this player instead. The Grudge Bearer's Troll Slayer is left standing, but the Dwarf Longbeard is downed. The Reichland Blitzer also has an ability which reads, if this player successfully tackles an opposing player, he gains passing. This allows the Blitzer to gain control of the ball. Play continues until all team managers have exhausted their hand. Once all players have been committed, the managers move on to the scoreboard phase. During the scoreboard phase, managers determine which team won each matchup by comparing each team's total star power. Based on the result, managers collect fans, star players, staff upgrades, and team upgrades. Starting with the highlight card closest to the highlight deck, the team managers reveal each cheat token in play. The Gouged Eye manager instantly gains 2 fans, which are tallied on his scoreboard. The Keven Brighting thrower has gained 1 star power point for his team, while the Keven Blitzer reveals an ejection symbol and is removed from the matchup. Each manager then resolves any scoreboard phase abilities listed on team and staff upgrade cards. The Keven Brighting manager has a Warp Stone Souvenirs card, which reads, each time you lose a matchup, gain 2 fans. Each team manager then totals up their star power in order to determine the winner. The Gouged Eye manager has 3 players standing with a total star power of 6. The Keven Brighting manager has a player down, so his star power is dropped to 0. A cheat token adds 1 star power, and he gains 2 for his standing player, and another 2 for controlling the ball at the end of the matchup, bringing his total to 5. Final score for the Gutter Run highlight: Gouged Eye 6, Keven Brighting 5. Keven Brighting lost, but has the Warpstone Souvenirs card in play, so they gain 2 fans. Each team manager then collects their team zone and central payouts. The Gouged Eye manager draws 2 star player cards from the CWC division deck, chooses 1 to keep, and discards the other. He also draws 2 team upgrade cards, chooses 1, and gains 1 fan. The Keven Brighting manager gains 1 staff upgrade card. With the Gouged Eye and Keven Brighting completing the scoreboard phase of the Gutter Run highlight, the field is cleared, and we move on to the intentional pounding highlight. Starting with the Grudge Bearers, there is a down Dwarf Longbeard with a down star power of 0, a standing Troll Slayer with a star power of 3, a 1 star power cheat token, and a standing Dwarf Blitzer with a star power of 3. Total for the Grudge Bearers, 7. The Reichland manager has a standing human Blitzer with a star power of 3, and a standing human thrower with a star power of 2. Reichland also controls the ball, which adds 2 to their team's star power. Total for the Reichland Reavers, 7. The matchup has ended in a 7-7 star power tie. However, in the event of a tie, the team that controls the ball is declared the winner. Scoring and payouts continue until all matchups have been tallied and cleared. Once all of the team managers have revealed their improvements, a new week and a new maintenance phase begins. Tournament cards are part of the Spike magazine deck and are played in the Spike magazine weekly headline space. Unlike highlights, there is no limit to the number of managers who can commit players to a tournament, and payouts depend entirely on the outcome. Each season culminates in the Blood Bowl tournament at the end of the 5th round. Team managers may gain additional fans from any end-of-game abilities, but winning the Blood Bowl does not guarantee victory. The team with the most fans wins the game. If you think you have what it takes to become a team manager, draft your players, hire your staff, and join us at the Blood Bowl.